Happy Halloween, everyone! What's going on? I dressed up. Guess my costume, chat. Guess my costume, boys. What am I? I'll tell you what I am. But you gotta first guess. An unhappy accident. What? Are you kidding me? Oh, thank you. Thank you, King Alpha. So, this is my Halloween costume. It's a big titty witch. How are you liking it? Dressed up as a big, fat titty witch. Properly with big zungas and nice skirts and a hat and a cut on the cheek because I don't know, witches need blood and shit. Welcome to the Halloween stream, everyone. I thought I'd do something special today, so we are going to do something very special. So for those who are not in the know today, we are going to do a few different things. That's another thing about YouTube. You can just like vibe with your stream and do whatever you like. And it's gonna be a great 3-parter, and I can later put on chapter marks in the video and direct people to what they ever want to watch again. Maybe. If I'm not too lazy. I'm probably too lazy to do that. But here we are, here we go. Okay. So we're gonna start off with a little bit of a story. As you know, some of you, I always talk about it. I really wanted to go into it at some point. And why not Halloween? Halloween is the perfect time to do just that. I'm a very frequent listener of horror story podcasts where a reader just reads internet horror stories because I love those. I really do. They help me sleep at night because I'm weird as fuck. And that's what we're gonna do today as well. I just hope you don't fall asleep while I'm reading. But I'm gonna read one of my favorite creepypastas of all times. At least parts of it, because that one is fucking long. If you look up videos of it, like 2 hours long. If you read it in its entirety. And I'm not sure if we want to read that long. If you have the tenacity to stick around for that much time. We are going to read I am a search and rescue officer for the US Forest Service. I have some stories to tell. It is a classic. A absolute classic. And I'm looking very much forward to reading it to you. With my best narrator voice that I have. After that, we are getting into some more action. We are going to play the newest game by Black-Eyed Priest and Puppet Combo. Called Skinfreak. For those who are not in the know, some of you might have followed me for a very long time on here. You should know that I love the game Bloodwash, and Skinfreak is from the same developer. And what I like so much about Bloodwash is it fundamentally understood how giallos, so Italian horror movies work, or crime horror movies. And I expect nothing less from Skinfreak, so it's perfect for this evening. And we round the evening out with some watch-along of a public domain horror movie. It's not entirely a horror movie, but I thought it would be a fun little movie to watch. called The Driller Killer, and it is about an artist who like goes fucking bonkers and starts killing homeless people with a drill. It's art, I swear. It's made by a guy called Abel Ferrara, and he's like kind of a big deal in the underground scene of New York. He has made some movies that are maybe not as well known. He is the director of that Driller Killer, which is in the public domain at this point. Miss 45, which is a great little movie too. Fear City, China Girl, and Cat Chaser. Those are like all his classics, and his probably most well-known one is King of New York, with Christopher Walken. Great movie. I can highly recommend that. And we basically watched the movie that put him on the map, so to speak. Not the most well-known director, but he has some good shit if you're more into offbeat movies. So Driller Killer it is. Yeah. Also, I just wanna say something real quick before I start with the creepypasta. If you've seen the news that YouTube is cracking down on violence on YouTube videos, especially when it comes to video games, I have a message for YouTube. Get fucked, you shit platform. Yes, I will still use you, and I will not tone down the violence in my videos. Get fucked, you shitty ass platform. I don't care about your algorithm. I don't care about the money. I don't care about anything. Fuck you. I'm keeping it real. That's the message. All right. So, without further ado, enjoy the vibes. And I'm gonna start reading now. And I hope you can just sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride. If people come in chat, I will answer anything they write after I finished a paragraph. So I'm just keeping in the flow. Is anyone still? Tell us the story of Little Lizard and the Orc. That's a story I'm gonna tell you later tomorrow. All right. I hope you're ready, because here it fucking goes. If you have anything to say, like the music is too loud in the background or whatever, just let me know. I will adjust it. Okay. I am a search and rescue officer for the US Forest Service. I have some stories to tell. 1. I wasn't sure where else to post these stories, so I figured out I'd share them here. I've been an SAR officer for a few years now, and along the way I've seen some things that I think you guys will be interested in. I have a pretty good track record of finding missing people. Most of the time they just wander off the path or slip down a small cliff and can't find their way back. The majority of them have heard the old "stay where you are" thing, and they don't wander far. But I've had 2 cases where that didn't happen. Both bother me a lot, and I use them as motivation to search even harder on the missing persons cases I get called on. The first was a little boy who was out berry picking with his parents. He and his sister were together, and both of them went missing around the same time. Their parents lost sight of them for a few seconds, and in that time, both kids apparently wandered off. When their parents couldn't find them, they called us, and we came out to search the area. We found the daughter pretty quickly, and we asked where her brother was. She told us that he'd been taken away by the bear man. She said he gave her berries and told her to stay quiet, and that he wanted to play with her brother for a while. The last she saw of her brother, he was riding on the shoulders of the bear man and seemed calm. Of course, our first thought was an abduction, but we never found a trace of another human being in that area. The little girl was also insistent that he wasn't a normal man, but that he was tall and covered in hair, a bear, and that he had a weird face. We searched that area for weeks. It was one of the longest calls I've ever been on, but we never found a single trace of the kid. The other was a young woman who was out hiking with her mom and grandpa. According to the mother, her daughter had climbed up a tree to get a better view of the forest, and she'd never come back down. They waited at the base of the tree for hours, calling her name, before they called for help. Again, we searched everywhere, and we never found a trace of her. I have no idea where she possibly could have gone, because neither her mom nor her grandpa saw her come down. A few times I've been out on my own searching with a canine, and they've tried to lead me straight up cliffs. Not hills, not even rock faces. Straight, sheer cliffs with no possible handholds. It's always baffling, and in those cases, we usually find the person on the other side of the cliff, or miles away from where the canine has led us. I'm sure that's an explanation, but it's sort of strange. One particular sad case involved the recovery of a body. A 9-year-old girl fell down an embankment and got impaled on a dead tree at the base. It was a complete freak accident, but I'll never forget the sound her mother made when we told her what had happened. She saw the body bag being loaded into the ambulance and let out the most haunting, heartbroken wail I've ever heard. It was like her whole life was crashing down around her, and part of her had died with her daughter. I heard from another SRA officer that she killed herself a few weeks after it happened. She couldn't live with the loss of her daughter. Be right back, gotta get back to work, gonna look. Alright, take care and have fun working and listening to my antics. I was teamed up with another search and rescue officer because we'd received reports of bears in the area. We were looking for a guy who hadn't come home from a climbing trip when he was supposed to, and we ended up having to do some serious climbing to get to where we figured he'd be. We found him trapped in a small crevasse with a broken leg. It was not pleasant. He'd been there for almost 2 days, and his leg was very obviously infected. We were able to get him into a chopper, and I heard from one of the EMTs that the guy was absolutely inconsolable. He kept talking about how he'd been doing fine, and when he'd gotten to the top, a man had been there. He said the guy had no climbing equipment, and he was wearing a parka and ski pants. He walked up to the guy, and when the guy turned around, he said he had no face. It was just blank. He freaked out and ended up trying to get off the mountain too fast, which is why he'd fallen. He said he could hear the guy all night, climbing down the mountain and letting out these horrible muffled screams. The story bothered the hell out of me. I'm glad I wasn't there to hear it. One of the scariest things I've ever had happen to me involved the search of a young woman who'd gotten separated from her hiking group. We were out until late at night because the dogs had picked up her scent. When we found her, she was curled up under a large rotted log. She was missing her shoes and pack and was clearly in shock. She didn't have any injuries, though we were able to get her to walk. She didn't have any injuries, though we were able to get her to walk back with us to the base of operations. Along the way, she kept looking behind us and asking us why the big man with black eyes was following us. We couldn't see anyone, so we just wrote it off as some weird symptom of shock. But the closer we got to base, the more agitated the woman got. She kept asking me to tell him to stop making faces at her. At one point, she stopped and turned around and started yelling into the forest, saying that she wanted him to leave her alone. She wasn't going to go with him, she said, and she wouldn't give us to him. We finally got her to keep moving, but we started hearing these weird noises coming from all around us. It was almost like coughing, but more rhythmic and deeper. It was almost insect-like. I don't really know how else to describe it. When we were within sight of base ops, the woman turns to me and her eyes are about as wide as I can imagine a human could open them. She touches my shoulder and says, "He says to tell you to speed up. He doesn't like looking at the scar on your neck." I have a very small scar on the base of my neck, but it's hidden under my collar, and I have no idea how this woman saw it. Right after she said this, I heard that weird coughing right in my ear, and I just about jumped out of my skin. I hustled her to ops, trying not to show how freaked out I was, but I have to say, I was really happy when we left the area that night. This is the last one I'll tell, and it's probably the weirdest story I have. Now, I don't know if this is true in every search and rescue unit, but in mine, it's a sort of unspoken, regular thing we run into. You can try asking about it with other search and rescue officers, but even if they know what you're talking about, they probably won't say anything about it. We've been told not to talk about it by our superiors. And at this point, we've all gotten so used to it that it doesn't even seem weird anymore. On just about every case where we are really far into the wilderness, I'm talking about 30 or 40 miles, at some point, we'll find a staircase in the middle of the woods. It's almost like if you took the stairs into your house, cut them out, and then just putting them into the forest. I asked about it the first time I saw some, and the other officer just told me to not worry about it, that it was normal. Everyone I asked said the same thing. I wanted to go and check them out, but I was told very emphatically that I should never go near any of them. I just sort of ignore them now when I run into them because it happens so frequently. I have a lot more stories, and I suppose if anyone is interested, I'll tell some of them tomorrow. If anyone has any theories about the stairs, or if you've seen them too, let me know. So, this was part 1. Before we get to part 2, what are these stairs, huh? What are these stairs? The stairs in the woods. What's your theory? What are we having here? Are those the stairs to heaven, or maybe even to hell? Or where do they lead to? I think there's a video about this. The stairs in the woods. And there's various theories around the stairs and what they are. But I find this incredible, interesting of a concept that you could come across stairs in the woods and where they lead and why you should never go near them. The first monster encountered, the bear man, was probably a Sasquatch, I would say. And with the others, I can't really tell. The guy who climbed up the mountain, that might have been a Slender Man sort of thing. And yeah, I don't know about the other ones, so I always found them more fascinating, not really thinking about it, but the one with the woman where he brings her back to ops, as he says, to camp, actually. What were they followed by? Death? There's some good stuff there, really. And the best part is there's part 2 to 10. So I would just say we jump right into part 2 and see how this continues. I'm all for it. So strap on your strap-ons. I'm gonna go right into part 2. So I logged back tonight and was blown away by the staggering amount of interest this seemed to have generated. First off, I'll address a few things that you guys have brought up. There's been an overwhelming amount of people mentioning the similarity between some of the stories and those of David Paulides. Paulides, I'm gonna hook in here. David Paulides is I don't know if he was a cop turned journalist, but he started out doing these missing 411 cases, where he started out constructing like cases around people going missing in national parks, and it's called the Missing 411. Those cases, I will say, have mostly been debunked, and Paulides himself has been outed as somebody who is either, I say this very, very allegedly, is either lying or very much misreading evidence. I think I'll settle on the first one. He is basically lying for attention. So just so you are in the picture of who David Paulides is, if you wanna have a more deeper dive on him, look up the YouTube channel Lore Lodge. They talk about a lot of his stuff and also debunking a lot of his stuff. So and I have to say this creepypasta is from 2020, I think. Where his fame in the, let's say in the creepypasta and true crime community was at its height. So it's natural that he gets mentioned here, but his star has faded, as I said earlier, quite a bit. So, just so you're aware, I obviously don't know who is gonna watch this or who is gonna listen to this, but I want to make really sure you know that David Paulides is a real person, and that he is the one who authored the famous Missing 411. But yeah, you have to look him up himself, more or less. All right, let's continue. I assure you, I'm not trying to rip him off in any way. I've got nothing but respect for the guy. He's actually what inspired me to write this, because I can verify a lot of the things he talks about. We do have a lot of these strange missing persons cases, and most of the time they aren't solved. Either that, or we find them in places they have no business being. I personally haven't been on many calls like that, but I'll share a few that I've seen in the story my friend told me that relates to this. So this is a paragraph that aged horribly. I mean, you know, but it's also fiction, so who cares? There was a lot of feedback about the stairs, so I'll touch on that briefly here, and I'll also include a story. They come in a variety of shapes, sizes, styles, and conditions. Some are pretty dilapidated, just ruins, but others are brand new. I saw one set that looked like they came from a lighthouse. They were metal and spiral and almost old-fashioned. The stairs don't go up infinitely. The stairs don't go up infinitely, or farther than I can see. But some sets are taller than others. Like I said before, just imagine the stairs in your house. As if someone copy-pasted them in the middle of nowhere. I don't have any pictures. It's never really occurred to me to try again after the first time. and I really feel like risking my job over it. I'll try again in the future, but I can't promise anything. A few people expressed confusion about the guy who ran into the man with no face. Just to clarify, when the climber ascended and reached the top of the peak, he saw another man in a parka and ski pants. This was the man with no face. Sorry about the confusing wording of that story. I'll try to avoid that in the future. Alright, on to the news stories. As far as missing persons go, I'd say about half the calls I get are related to that. The others are rescue calls. People who fall down cliffs and hurt themselves, get injured by fire. You wouldn't believe how often this happens. Mostly drunk kids get bitten or stung by animals or insects, etc. We are a tight team, and we have veterans who are excellent at finding signs of lost people. That's what makes these cases where we never find any trace of them so frustrating. One in particular was upsetting for all of us because we did find a trace of them, but it led to more questions than answers. An older man had been hiking alone on a well-established trail, but his wife called to say that he hadn't come home when he should have. Apparently, he had a history of seizures, and she was worried that he hadn't taken his medication and had suffered one out on the trail. For you ask, I have no idea why he thought it was okay to go out alone, or why she didn't go with him. I don't ask these kind of things, because past a certain point, it really doesn't matter. Someone is missing, and it's my job to find them. We went out in a standard search formation, and it wasn't long before one of our vets found signs that the guy had gone off the trail. We grouped up and followed him, spreading out in a fan to make sure we were covering as much ground as possible. Suddenly, a call comes over the radio telling us to head all back to the vet's location, and we come right away, because this usually means the missing person is injured and we need a full team to help get them out safely. We meet back up, and the vet is standing at the base of a tree with his hands on his sides, with the hands on the sides of his head. I ask my buddy what's going on, and he points up to the branches of the tree. I almost couldn't believe what I was seeing, but there's a walking stick dangling from a branch at least 30 feet off the ground. The little strap thing on the handle has been looped around the branch, and it's just hanging there. There's no way the guy could have tossed it up that far, and we don't see any other signs that he's still in the area. We call up into the tree, but it's obvious no one's in it. We are all just sort of left scratching our heads. We keep searching for the guy, but we never find him. We even bring our canines out, but they lose his scent long before this tree. Eventually, the search is called off because there are other calls we have to attend to. And past a certain point, there's not much we can do. The guy's wife called us every day for months afterwards, asking if we'd found her husband. And it was heartbreaking to hear her get more and more hopeless each time. I am not sure why this call in particular was so upsetting, but I think it was the sheer improbability of it. That and the questions that were raised. How the hell had this guy's cane ended up there? Someone kill him and toss it up there as some weird trophy? We did our best to find him, but it was almost like a taunt. We still talk about that one from time to time. Missing kids are the most heartbreaking. Doesn't matter what circumstances they go missing under. It's never easy, and we always dread the ones we find deceased. It's not common, but it does happen. David Paulides talks a lot about kids search and rescue teams find in places they shouldn't be or couldn't be. I can honestly say I've heard about this kind of thing happening more than I've seen it. But I'll share one of the ones that I think about a lot that I witnessed personally. A mother and her 3 kids were out for a picnic in an area of the park that has a small lake. One is 6, one is 5, and the other one is about 3. She's watching them all really closely, and according to her, she never lets them out of her sight at any time. She never saw anyone else in the area either, which is important. She packs her stuff up, and they start to head back to the parking area. Now this lake is the only... Now this lake is only about 2 miles into the woods. And it's a very clearly established trail. It's almost impossible to get lost getting from the parking area to it, unless you're deliberately going off the path like an imbecile. Her kids are walking in front of her when she hears what sounds like someone coming up the path behind her. She turns around, and in the 4 or so seconds she's not looking, her 5-year-old son vanishes. She figures she stepped off the trail to pee or something and asks her other 2 kids where he went. They both tell her a big man with a scary face came out of the woods next to them, took the kid's hand, and led him into the trees. The 2 remaining kids don't seem upset. In fact, she says later that it seems like they've been drugged. They are sort of spacey and fussy. So, of course, she freaks out and starts looking frantically in the area for her kid. She's screaming his name, and she says that at one point she thinks she heard him answer her. Now, obviously, she can't go blindly running into the woods. She's got the other 2 kids. She calls the police, and they send us out immediately. We respond, and we start to search for him. Over the course of this search, which spans miles, We never find a single trace of the kid. Canines can't pick up any scent, and we don't find any clothing or broken bushes or literally anything that would signify a child being there. Of course, there's suspicion about the mother for a while, but it's pretty clear that she's completely destroyed by the whole thing. We looked for this kid for weeks with a lot of volunteer help, but eventually the search peters out and we have to move on. The volunteers keep searching, though, and one day we get a call on the radio letting us know that a body has been found and needs to be recovered. They tell us the location and none of us can believe it. We figured it has to be a different kid. But we go out there about 15 miles from the site where he vanished. And sure enough, we find the body of the kid we've been looking for. I have been trying to figure out how this kid got there, where he did ever since we found him, and I've never come up with an answer. A volunteer just happened to be in the area because he figured he might as well look in places no one else would think to. On the off chance the body had been dumped, he comes to the base of a tall rocky slope, and halfway up he sees something. He looks through his binoculars, and sure enough, it's the body of a little boy, stuffed in a little opening in the rock. He recognizes the color of the kid's shirt, so he knows right away that it's the missing boy. That's when he calls it in, and we are dispatched. It took us almost an hour to get his body down, and none of us could believe what we were seeing. Not only was this kid 15 miles from where he'd started, but there was no impossible way he could have gotten up there on his own. The slope is treacherous, and it's hard even for us with climbing gear. 5-year-old boy had no way of getting up there. Of that I'm certain. Not only that, but the kid doesn't have a scratch on him. His shoes are gone, but his feet aren't damaged or dirty. So it wasn't as if an animal dragged him up there. And from what I can tell, he hasn't been dead that long. He'd been out there over a month by that point, and it looked like he'd only been dead for at most a day or two. The whole thing was unbelievably strange, and was one of the most disconcerting calls I've ever been on. We found out later that the coroner determined the kid had died from exposure. He'd frozen to death, probably late at night, 2 days before we found him. There were no suspects and no answers. To date, it's one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. One of my first jobs as a trainee was a search op for a 4-year-old kid that gotten separated by his mom. From his mom. This was one of those cases where we knew we were gonna find him because the dogs were on a strong scent trail and we saw clear signs that he was in the area. We ended up finding him in a berry patch about half a mile from where he'd been last seen. Kid wasn't even aware that he'd wandered that far off. One of the vets brought him back, which I was glad for because I'm really not good with kids. I find it hard to talk to them and keep them company. As my trainer and I are headed back, she decides to take me on a detour to show me one of the hotspots where we tend to find missing people. It's a natural dip in the land near a popular trail, and people will usually move downhill because it's easier. We hike out there. It's a few miles away, and we get there in about an hour or so. As we walk around the area and she's pointing out places she's found people in the past, I see something in the distance. Now this area we are in is about 8 miles from the main parking area, though there's back roads you can take to get closer if you don't want to hike that far. But we are on state protected land, which means there can't be any kind of commercial or residential development out here. The most you'll ever see is a fire tower or a makeshift shelter that homeless people think they can get away with building. But I can see from here that whatever this thing is has straight edges, and if there's one thing you learn quickly, it's that nature rarely makes straight lines. I pointed out, but she doesn't say a thing. She just hangs back and lets me wander over and check it out. I get within about 20 feet of it, and all the hair on the back of my neck stand up. It's a staircase in the middle of the fucking woods. In the proper context, it would literally be the most benign thing ever. It's just a normal staircase with a beige carpet. The true horror is the beige carpet. 100%. And about 10 steps tall. But instead of being in a house, where it obviously should be, it's out here in the middle of the woods. The sides aren't carpeted, obviously, and I can see the wood it's made of. It's almost like a video game glitch, where the house has failed to load completely, and the stairs are the only thing visible. I stand there, and it's like my brain is working overtime to try and make sense of what I'm seeing. My trainer comes and stands next to me, and she just stands there casually looking at it as if it's the least interesting thing in the world. I ask her what the fuck this is doing here, and she just chuckles. Get used to it, Ricky. You're gonna see a lot more of them. I start to move closer, but she grabs my arm hard. I wouldn't do that, she said. Her voice is casual, but her grip is tight. And I just stand there looking at her. You're gonna see them all the time, but don't go near them. Don't touch them. Don't go up them. Just ignore them. I start to ask her about it, but something in the way she's looking at me tells me that it's best if I don't. We end up moving on, and the subject doesn't come up again. for the rest of my training. She was right though. I'd say about every 5th call I go on, I end up running across a set of stairs. Sometimes they're relatively close to the path. Maybe within 2 or 3 miles. Sometimes they're 20-30 miles out. Literally in the middle of fucking nowhere. And I only find them during the broadest searches or training weekends. They are usually in good condition, but sometimes it looks like they've been out there for miles. All different kinds, all different sizes. The biggest I ever saw looked like they came out of a turn of the century mansion and were at least 10 feet wide with steps leading up at least 15 or 20 feet. I've tried talking about it with people, but they just give me the same response my trainer did. It's normal. Don't worry about it. They're not a big deal. But don't go close to them or go up them. When trainees ask me about it now, I give the same response. I don't really know what else to tell them. I'm really hoping someday I get better answers. But it hasn't happened yet. This is another one that was less spooky and more sad. A young man went missing late in winter, when realistically no one should be going that far out onto the trails. We close a lot of them, but some remain open year-round unless there's a shitload of snow. We didn't opt for him, but we had about 6 feet of snow on the ground. It was an unusually heavy snow year, and we knew it wasn't likely that we'd find him until spring when the thaw came. Sure enough, when the first big thaw came, a hiker reported a body a little ways off the main trail. We found him at the base of a tree, in a pile of melted snow. I knew right away what had happened, and it scared the living shit out of me. Most of us who ski or snowboard spend any amount of time on the mountain will probably have guessed too. When snow falls, it doesn't collect as thick in the areas beneath the branches. It happens most with fir trees because they have a sort of closed umbrella shape. So what you end up with is a space around the base and of a tree that's filled with a mixture of loose powdery snow, air, and branches. They are called tree wells. They are not immediately obvious if you don't know what you're looking for. We put up signs in the welcome center, big ones, letting people know how dangerous they are. Every year that we get an unusual amount of snow, at least one person doesn't read them or doesn't take the warning seriously, and we find out about it in spring. My best guess is that this young man was hiking and got tired, or maybe a cramp from walking in the deep snow. He went to go sit at the base of the tree, not knowing that there was a tree well, and he fell in. He got stuck with his feet in there. He got stuck with his feet up and the surrounding snow caved in around him. Unable to free himself, he suffocated. It's called snow immersion suffocation, and it doesn't usually happen except in really deep snow. But if you get stuck in a weird position, like this guy did, even 6 feet of snow can be lethal. What scared me the most was imagining how he must have struggled. Upside down in the freezing cold. He didn't die quickly. The snow would have formed a dense, heavy pile on top of him, and it would have literally been impossible to get out. As it got harder to breathe, he would have known what was happening. I can't even imagine what he was thinking in his last moments. A lot of my less outdoorsy friends want to know if I've ever seen the goat man while I've been out on calls. Unfortunately, or I guess fortunately, I've never had anything quite like that happen. I guess the closest was the whole black-eyed man thing. But I didn't see anything. However, there was one call where I had something kind of similar happen, but I'm not sure I'm willing to chalk it up to the goat man. We'd gotten a report that an older woman had fainted along the trails and needed assistance getting back down to the main area. We hike up there where she's at, and her husband is just beside her himself. He runs, well, I guess more jogs to us and tells us that he was a little ways off the trail looking at something when his wife starts screaming behind him. He runs back to her and she's passed out on the trail. We get her on a backboard, and as we are getting her down to the welcome center, she comes to and starts screaming again. I calmed her down and asked her what happened. I can't remember verbatim what she said, but essentially, this is what happened. She'd been waiting for her husband when she started hearing this really strange sound. She said it sounded sort of like a cat, but it was off somehow and she couldn't quite figure it out why. She went a little ahead to try and hear it better, and it sounded like it was coming closer. She said the closer it got, the more uneasy she was, until she finally figured out what was wrong. I do remember this next part, because it was so weird that I don't think I could forget it if I tried. It wasn't a cat, it was a man saying the word meow over and over. Just meow, meow, meow. King Alpha, what are you doing to that old lady? But it wasn't a man. It couldn't have been, because I've never had a man make his voice buzz like that. I thought my hearing aid was gone out, but it wasn't. I adjusted it and it still sounded all buzzy. It was awful. He was coming closer, but I couldn't see him. And the closer he got, the more scared I was. And the last thing I remember was a shape coming out of the trees. I guess that's when I fainted. Now, obviously, I'm a little perplexed as to why a guy would be out in the fucking woods chanting meow, meow. I mean, we need to ask King Alpha that. People, So once we get down to the mountain, I tell my superior that I'm gonna go search the area, see if I can find anything. He gives me the go-ahead and I grab a radio and hike back to where she fainted. I don't see anyone. They keep going about a mile more, and when I head back, I go off the trail to see if I can figure out where she saw him. It's almost sunset by this point, and I don't have the desire to be out at night alone. So I just sort of write it off and make a mental note to check it out tomorrow again. But as I'm headed back, I start to hear something in the distance. I stop and I call out for anyone in the immediate area to identify themselves. The sound didn't come closer or get louder, but it sounded exactly like a man saying meow, meow in this really odd monotone. As comical as it makes it sound, it was almost like that guy on South Park with the electrolarynx, Ned. I go off the trail in the direction I think it's coming from, but I never seem to get closer. It's almost like it's coming from all directions. Eventually it just sort of fades out, and I ended up going back to the welcome center. I didn't get any further reports like that. And even though I went back to that area, I never heard that exact sound again. I suppose it could have been some stupid kid out there fucking with people. But even I have to admit it was weird. So this kind of turned into a massive wall of text. And for that, I apologize. I wanted to get to the stories my friend told me, and he does have some good ones, so I'll post those tomorrow evening. I also have a few more of my own I think you guys will like. I'm sorry to keep you all in suspense again. Hopefully the story here make up for it and help you get through the next 24 hours until I can post again. Edit. Since it seems like all of you would like to hear more tomorrow, I'll write up as many stories as I can and do a massive post. I'll include my friends' stories, and I'll see if I can get a hold of a few more people who might have interesting things to talk about. I just wasn't sure how people felt about a big huge wall of text. But if you're all okay with it, I'll post a lot more stories. Yo, Lacheto, what's up, baby? What is up? Tiny Lizard. Yeah, it's Tiny Lizard. Exactly. Mr. Lizard is up in this bitch. What's up, my boy? I'm okay with it. Wait, you okay with it? No, I'm just reading what they wrote. It's like it was a Reddit post at one point. So of course he's like, I hope you're all okay with me posting more. Hey, don't use my old name. So should I keep going with part 3? You want to hear more? You want to hear more of me narrating the creepypasta? Or should we switch to the game? I got at least one more part. Yes, more please. Oh boy. King Alpha is begging for more, huh? Okay, I'll do more, but I'll wait what the others say too. Like, I do enjoy reading those, honestly. That is a lot of fun. Even if I kind of stumble a bit sometimes. Bottoms be like, I've been here for a while too, by the way, just focusing on a game. Oh, nice. Welcome, Crumb. Okay. I'll be reading part 3, I think. It's gonna be amazing. Like I said, it's probably my favorite creepypasta that I posted because I've always been fascinated by like American national parks and disappearances in it. I don't think necessarily there's something supernatural going on in there, but I also kind of want to believe there is. I'm just like that. All right. Get some snacks, get something to drink. We are diving into part 3. Part 3. Well, once again, you guys have blown me away with this staggering amount of responses to my stories. There's no way I can respond to each of you individually, so I'm going to address some common things again, and then move on to the stories. I'm going to write as many as I can. I'm going to write as many as I can think of, in addition to my friends' stories. And I will probably not update again until I get the chance to answer some questions that I myself have for my superiors. Hi, Charlie! Welcome! Now everyone is gonna be here. Everyone wants to hear the creepypasta. Nice. Let's go. What's the context here for now? So, we are reading a creepypasta that is pretty long. I'm not reading all of it. I'm just reading some segments of it. It's called I Am a Search and Rescue Officer for the U.S. Forest Service. I have some stories to tell. And the context is basically, it was like a a throwaway account on Reddit who started posting like these stories, and it got collected into like this collection of 10 parts, and it's all about supernatural stuff that's happening in and around US national parks. It's kind of cool. I love that one. It's one of my favorite creepypastas, honestly. The title is pretty long, but I love it, and it's very much worth looking it up and maybe even continuing reading it once we are done here. I might go even back and read like the rest of it at one stream. I mean, I have time now, and it is this time of the year. Halloween is finally here, and I feel like even after Halloween is over, it's certainly even more moody and more ghostly than it was before. It's an isekai title. Yes, it is. So just again, for everyone who's here and who's chatting, I will not ignore you. I will just read the paragraphs as they go, and might some are very long, some are shorter, and I will answer all comments that you write in the breaks between paragraphs. That's just a little heads up for you all. All right, so we have read the introduction, and he's now addressing some common questions. All right, so the common questions I found you all have. I am not comfortable talking about where I exactly work, unfortunately. In all reality, some of the things I've mentioned here could get me in a lot of trouble or fired. So it's best if I just not discuss too much. I will say that I am in the United States, and in an area that is compromised of a great deal of wilderness. We're talking about hundreds of miles of thick forest with a mountain range and a few lakes. So we can speculate where he is. I would say he's probably somewhere in the northwest. At least it sounds like it. He could also be more in the southeast, like Appalachia makes a lot of sense, right? Or the Ozarks. I'm not sure if the Ozarks are hundreds of miles of forest though. And I am as a European know what the Ozarks are. By the way, I just want to point that out. Like I just want to point that out. There's still a great amount of interest in the stairs. And luckily for you guys, my friend has a story that I think you all will be very interested in. I'll go into that more at the end of this update. As for whether or not I have ever thought of asking my superior about them, I have. But again, I don't want to risk my job. However, one of my former superiors no longer works as a search and rescue officer, and it's possible that he may be willing to talk to me about it. I'll be speaking to him later in the week, and I will let you know. And I will let you all know what comes of that. The cool thing is he's slowly unraveling this mystery of these stairs in the woods. Like the core story, while he also tells like some other stories around his job as a search and rescue officer. As far as advice on becoming a search and rescue officer goes, I think the best advice I can give is to contact your local Forest Service office and see if they offer any training course or what the qualifications are. I've been doing this for years, and I started out as a volunteer helping on search and rescue operations. It's a great job despite the occasional tragic situations, and I wouldn't want to do anything else. Yeah, just picked up another job, okay? Audio only for now. Alright. Audio only for now is fine, because there is nothing else than audio at the moment. Alright, let's move on to the stories. The first happened on a case that I went out on right after I got out of training, and was still pretty new to everything. Before I took this job, I was a volunteer, so I had a basic idea of what to expect. But on those calls, you're mostly dealing with finding lost people after vets have already found signs of them. As a search and rescue officer, you go out for all kinds of cases, from animal bites to heart attacks. This case got called in the early in the morning from a young couple who were up on one of the trails that goes by the lake. The husband was completely hysterical, and we couldn't really figure out what was going on. We could hear the woman screaming in the background, and he was begging us to come up right away. When we got there, we see him holding his wife, and she's got something in her arms. She's screaming these awful, almost animal-like screams, and he's sobbing. He sees us and he screams at us to help them, to please get an ambulance up there. Now, obviously, we can't just drive an ambulance up the walking path. So we ask him if his wife needs help or if she can walk on her own. He's still hysterical, but he manages to tell us that it's not his wife that needs help. I go over while one of the vets tries to calm him down, and I ask the wife what's going on. She's rocking, holding something, and just shrieking over and over. I crouch down and see that whatever she's holding, it's covered with her blood. That's when I notice the sling on her front, and my heart sinks. I ask her to tell me what's going on, and I sort of pry her arms open gently so I can see what she's holding. It's her baby, obviously dead. His head is caved in on the side, and he's covered in scratches. Now I've seen dead bodies before, but something about the whole situation hits me hard. I have to take a second to compose myself, and I get up and go get one of the other vets who was standing by. I tell him that it's a dead kid, and he sort of pats my shoulder and tells me he'll deal with it. The witch needs to reposition herself. By the witch, I mean me. It took us over an hour to get this woman to let us see her kid. Every time we try to take him from her, she flips out and tells us we can't have him. That he'll be okay if we just leave her alone and let her help him. But eventually, one of the vets manages to calm her down and give us the body. We took it back to the med area, but when the EMTs showed up, they told us that there was never any hope of saving the kid. He died instantly from the trauma to his head. I was good buddies with one of the nurses who met them at the hospital, and she told me later what had happened. Turns out the couple had been walking with a baby in the sling, and they stopped because the kid was fussing. The dad takes the kid and holds him, looking out over this little gully by the path. The mom comes to stand next to him, but she ends up stepping on a loose patch of soil and she trips. She falls into Dad, who drops the kid, who ends up falling about 20 feet down this little gully onto the rocks at the bottom. The dad climbed down and recovered the kid, but he'd fallen right on his head and was dead by the time he got there. The baby was only about 15 months old. It was a total freak accident. A series of events that coalesced into the worst possible outcome. Probably one of the more awful calls I've been on. I haven't seen a lot of animal bites in my time as search and rescue officer. Mostly because there aren't that many animals that come around the area. While there are bears in the area, they tend to stay pretty far away from people. And sightings are highly unusual. Most of the animals you'll see are the small ones, like coyotes, raccoons, or skunks. What we do see frequently, though, are moose. And let me tell you, moose are nasty fuckers. They'll chase after anything for any reason. God help you if you get between a female and its baby. One of the more amusing calls was a guy who'd gotten chased down by an absolutely massive male moose and was stuck up a tree. Took us almost an hour to get him down, and when he was finally on solid ground again, he looks at me and he says, "God damn, them fuckers is big up close." I guess that's not really a scary story. We still laugh about that one. I honestly don't know how I'd forgotten this story, but it is by far the scariest thing that's happened to me. I guess maybe I've tried so long to forget about it and that it's just didn't come to my mind right away. As someone who spends literally all their time in the woods, you don't ever want to let yourself get scared of being alone or out in the middle of nowhere. That's why when you have experiences like this, you tend to just forget about them and move on. This is, to date, the only thing that's ever made me really seriously consider if this job is the right one for me. I don't really like talking about it much, but I'll do my best. But I'll do the best I can to remember it all. As I recall, this took place right at the end of spring. It was a typical lost child call. Typical lost child call, huh? What will we find? A 4-year-old girl had wandered away from her family's campsite and had been missing for about 2 hours. Her parents were completely dependent on and told us what most parents do. My kid would never wander away. She's so good about staying close. She's never done anything like this before, etc. We assure the parents that we'll do everything we can to find her, and we spread out in standard search formation. I was partnered with one of my good buddies, and we were sort of casually holding conversation while we hiked. I know it sounds callous, but you sort of become desensitized when you've done this long enough. It becomes the norm, and you think, to a certain extent, you have to learn to desensitize yourself in order to work this job. We searched for a good 2 hours, going well beyond where we think she'd be. And we come out of a small valley when something makes us both stop in unison. We freeze and look at each other. And there's almost a sensation like a plane depressurizing. My ears pop and I have this odd sensation of having dropped about 10 feet. I start to ask my buddy if he felt that. But before I can, we hear the loudest sound I've ever heard in my entire life. It's almost like a straight freight train passing directly by us, but it's coming from every direction at once, including above and below. He screams something to me, but I can't hear him over the deafening roar. Understandably freaked out, we look all around us, trying to find the source of the sound, but neither of us sees anything. Of course, at first we thought it is a landslide, but we are not near any cliffs, and even if we were, it would have hit us by now. The sound goes on, and we are trying to yell at each other, but even standing close together, we can't hear anything but the sound. Then, as suddenly as it starts, it stops. Like someone threw a switch off and cut it off. We stand there for a second, perfectly still, and slowly, the normal sound of the woods came back. He asked me what the fuck just happened, but I just kind of shrug, and we stand there looking at each other for a minute. I get on the radio and ask if anyone else just heard the end of the fucking world, but no one else heard it, even though we are all within shouting distance of each other. My buddy and I sort of shrug it off and keep going. About an hour later, we all check up on the radios, and no one's found the little girl. Most of the time we won't search when it gets dark, but because we don't have any kind of lead on her, a few of us decide to keep going, including me and my buddy. We keep close together, and we are calling out for her every couple of minutes. At this point, I'm beyond hope that we can find her. Because while I may not like kids, the idea of them being out alone in the dark is awful. The woods can be intimidating to kids. In the daylight. At night, well, it's just a whole different beast. But we are not seeing any signs of her or getting any response. And around midnight, we decide to turn around and head back to the rendezvous point. Ovo. King Alpha Uvus and I Ovo. We are about halfway back when my buddy stops and shines his light to the right of us. Into a really thick deadfall, or a group of dead trees. I asked him if he's heard a response, but he just told me to be quiet a second and listen. I do, and in the distance, I can hear what sounded like a kid crying. We both call the girl's name and listen for any kind of response, but it's just really this faint crying. We head in the direction of the deadfall and go around it, calling her name over and over. As we get closer to the crying, I start getting this weird feeling in my gut. And I tell my buddy that something isn't right. He tells me he feels the same way, but we can't figure out what it is. We stop where we are and call the girl's name again. And at the same time, we both figure it out. Hey, you're not welcome. The crying is on loop. It's the same little hitching sob. Then wail, then quiet hiccup. Repeated over and over. It's exactly the same every time. And without saying another word, we both take off running. It's the only time I've ever lost my composure like that. But something about it was so incredibly wrong, and neither of us wanted to stay out there anymore. When we go back to the rendezvous, we ask if anyone else heard anything strange, but no one else knew what we were talking about. Tonight is scary, my grandpa. Oh no, not the electricity bell. I know it sounds sort of anticlimactic, but that call fucked me up for a long time. As for the little girl, we never found a trace of her. We keep an eye out for her and all the other people whom we've never found. But frankly, I doubt ever find any. But I frankly doubt we'll find ever anything of the missing persons calls I've gone out on. Only a handful have ever resulted in a complete disappearance, meaning no trace of the person and nobody ever found. But sometimes, finding a body just leads to more questions than answers. Here are some of the bodies we've found that have become infamous in our team. A teenage boy whose remains were recovered almost a year after he vanished. We found the top of his skull, 2 finger bones, and his camera almost 40 miles from where he last was seen. The camera sadly was destroyed. The pelvis of an older man who had vanished a month earlier. That was all we found. The lower jaw and right foot of a 2-year-old boy on the highest peak of a ridge in the southern part of the park. The body of a 10-year-old girl with Down syndrome, almost 20 miles from where she'd vanished. She had died of exposure 3 weeks after going missing, and all of her clothes were intact, except for her shoes and jacket. There were berries and cooked meat in her stomach. When they did the autopsy, the coroner said it appeared as if someone had been taking care of her. No suspects were identified. The frozen body of a young 1-year-old baby, found a week after vanishing in the hollow trunk of a tree 10 miles from the area he was last seen. There was fresh milk found in his stomach, but his tongue was gone. A single vertebrae and right kneecap of a 3-year-old girl found in the snow almost 20 miles from the campground her family had been at the previous summer. Now onto a couple of stories my friend told me. I mentioned that you were all interested in the stairs and you're in luck. He's had a closer encounter with them, though he doesn't have an explanation for them. He does have a bit more experience with them than I do. My buddy had been a search and rescue officer for about 7 years. He started when he was a junior in college, and he had a very similar experience when he first encountered the stairs. His trainer told him almost the same thing mine did, which was to never go near, touch, or ascend them. For the first year he did just that, but apparently his curiosity got the better of him, and on one call he broke away from the line and went to go and check a set of them out. He said they were about 10 miles from the path where a teenage girl had vanished, and the dogs were following a scent. He was on his own, lagging behind the main group when he saw a set of stairs off to the left. They looked like they were from a new house, because the carpeting was pristine and white. He said that as he got closer, he didn't feel any different or hear any weird noises. He was expecting something to happen, like bleeding from his ears or collapsing, but he got right up next to them and didn't feel anything. The only thing he said that was odd was that there was absolutely no debris on the steps. No dirt, no leaves, no dust. Anything. And There didn't appear to be any signs of animal or insect activity in the immediate area, which he found strange too. It was less like things were avoiding them, and more like they just happened to be in a relatively barren part of the forest. He touched the stairs and didn't feel anything except the sort of sticky feeling you get from a new carpet. Making sure his radio was on, he slowly climbed them. He said it was terrifying because the way they'd been stigmatized, he wasn't really sure what was going to happen to him. He joked that half of him expected to be teleported to some other dimension, and the other half was watching for an UFO to come swooping down. But he got to the top with little event, and he stood there looking around. But he said the longer he stood on on the top step, the more he felt like he was doing something very, very wrong. He described it as the feeling you'd get if you were in a part of a government building you have no business being in. As if someone was going to come and arrest you, or shoot you in the back of the head at any second. He tried to brush it off, but the feeling got stronger and stronger, and that's when he realized he couldn't hear anything anymore. The sound of the forest were gone, and he couldn't hear his own breathing. It was like some kind of weird, awful tinnitus, but more oppressive. He climbed back down and rejoined the search, and didn't mention what he'd done. But he said the weirdest part came after. His trainer was waiting back at the welcome center after the search ended for the day, and he cornered my buddy before he could leave. He said his trainer had this look of intense anger, and he asked what was wrong. You went up, didn't you? My buddy said he wasn't. My buddy wasn't phrased as. My buddy said it wasn't phrased as a question. He asked how his trainer knew. The trainer just shook his head. Because we didn't find her. The dogs lost her scent. My buddy asked what that had to do with anything. The trainer asked how long he'd been on the stairs. And my buddy said no more than a minute. The trainer gave him this really awful, almost dead-eyed look, and told him that if he ever went up another set of stairs again, he'd be fired immediately. The trainer walked away, and I guess he's never answered any of the questions my buddy asked him about it since. My buddy has been involved in a lot of missing person cases where there's never been a trace of them found. I mentioned David Paulides, and my buddy said he can confirm that those stories are, for the most part, accurate. He said that most of the time, if the person isn't found right away, they're either never found, or they are found weeks, months, or years later, in places they can't possibly have got. One story he told me really stood out, that involved a 5-year-old boy with a severe mental disability. That was the mentally disabled, ain't it? A little boy vanished from the picnic area in the late fall. In addition to the mental disability, he was also physically handicapped. and his parents explained over and over that he simply could not have vanished. It was impossible. Someone had to have taken him. My buddy said they searched for the kid for weeks, going miles off the accepted range, but it was like he'd never been there. The dogs couldn't pick up his scent anywhere, not even in the picnic area where he'd apparently vanished from. Suspicion fell on the parents. But it was pretty clear that they were devastated and hadn't done anything sinister to their kid. The search was concluded about a month later, and my buddy said everyone had pretty much forgotten by it later in the winter. He was out on a training up in the snow on one of the higher peaks when he came across something in the snow. He said he saw it from far away at first, and when he got closer, he realized it was a shirt. Frozen and sticking part way out of the powder. He recognized it as belonging to the kid because of its distinctive pattern. Happy Halloween, Wesley! Welcome in. About 20 yards away, he found the kid's body, lying partially buried in the snow. My buddy said there was no way that kid had been dead for any more than a few days, even though he'd been missing for almost 3 months. The kid was curled around something, and when my buddy brushed off the snow to see what it was, he almost couldn't believe what he was seeing. It was a big chunk of ice that had been carved crudely to look sort of like a person. The kid was holding it so tight that it had frostbitten his chest and hand, which my buddy could tell even with the decay that had taken place. He radioed the rest of the crew and they took the body off the mountain. Now, he recapped all of this for me, and to put it simply, there was no way this kid could have both survived for almost 3 months on his own or have gotten to this peak. There was no physical way this kid could have walked almost 50 miles and ended up at the top of a goddamn mountain. To top it off, there was nothing in the kid's stomach or colon. Nothing. Not even water. It was like my buddy said. The kid had been taken off the face of the earth, put into suspended animation, and dropped on this mountain months later only to die of exposure. He's never really gotten over that one. The last story I'll share from him was one that took place relatively recently, only a few months ago. They were out doing a recon for mountain lions. Because there had been several reports of sightings in the last couple of days. One of our jobs is to scout out the areas where these animals are seen to ensure that if they are in the area, we can warn people and close off the trail. He was out on his own in a very heavily forested part of the park toward dusk when he heard what sounded like a woman screaming in the distance. Now, as most of you know, when a mountain lion screams, It sounds almost like... Now, as most of you know, when a mountain lion screams, it sounds almost exactly like a woman being brutally murdered. It's unsettling, but far from abnormal. My buddy radioed back and let Ops know that he'd heard one, and that he was going to keep going to see if he could figure out where its territory started. He heard the mountain lion scream a couple more times, always from the same spot, and determined to approximate the area of the mountain lion's territory. He was about to head back when he heard another scream. This time within only a few yards of him. Of course he freaks out and starts heading back at a much faster pace. Because the last thing he wants is to run into a goddamn mountain lion and get mauled to death. As he got back onto the path and started heading back, the screaming followed him and he broke into a jog. Should you run? Like, isn't that a bad idea to run when an animal follows you because it triggers basically its hunting instincts? Shouldn't you just stop, turn around, whip out your fucking Desert Eagle and shoot it in the face? Wouldn't that be the most American thing you could do, huh? When he was about a mile from Ops, the screaming stopped, and he turned around to see if it was following him. It was almost night at this point. But he said that in the distance, just before the path rounded a corner, he could see what looked like a male figure. He called out to them, warning them that the paths were closed and that he needed to come back to the welcome center. The figure just stood there, and my buddy started walking over. When he was about 10 yards away, the figure took, as he described, an impossibly long step toward him and let out the same scream my buddy had been hearing. My buddy didn't even say anything. He just turned and sprinted back to Ops, never looking behind him. By the time he got back, the screaming had moved back into the woods. He didn't mention it to anyone else, just said that there was a mountain lion in the area and that they would need to close the path until the animal could be located and moved. I'm going to end this entry here, since it's turned into a huge wall of text. I'm going to be heading out on a yearly training operation tomorrow, so I'll be gone until the next week. I'll be meeting with a lot of former trainers and buddies who work in other areas of the park, and I'll be asking around about stories they'd like to share. I'm so glad you guys have been interested in my stories. And once I'm back from this up, I'll continue sharing them. All right. So it's 3 parts down. We've been reading pretty well. I've been reading pretty well, actually. I stumble sometimes, but I think I'm doing a good job. But for now, I think that was enough creepypasta. I'm probably gonna finish this one actually on stream. We are on part 4, and we could actually do this. Like, we could do this in 3 sittings. Like 2 more sittings. Like, we read parts, I don't know, 4 to 8 or something, and then the last 3 parts. Yeah, part 9 and 10 are pretty short. So, yeah, this was parts 1 to 3 from I'm a search and rescue officer for the US Forest Service. I have some stories to tell. one of the creepypastas that came out when the missing 411 stuff was at its height. As I said at the start, when David Paulides' name was dropped, look into missing 411, but most of it is just made up by Paulides, unfortunately. Or thank the Lord, I guess. He is yeah. It's big stuff. Yeah. And we move on. We move on from reading to gaming. And today I have a very special game for you, which I will introduce real quick. For the ones who came to us while I was reading and were completely at a loss what's going on. But as you all know, when you come to my stream, you never know what to expect. Today it's me reading creepypastas in a costume that I call the Big Titty Witch. Tomorrow it's gonna be gay furry shit. You're all welcome. We're going to play Skinfreak. Now, Skinfreak is by Black-Eyed Priest and Torture Star Video. Actually, not Puppet Combo. But Torture Star Video is like the publishing arm of Puppet Combo, I think. I'm not 100%. Doesn't matter. Important part is we are going to play Skinfreak. And Skinfreak is a sort of follow-up to Blood Wash, a game that I really loved because it firmly understood Italian giallo atmosphere and writing. And we're just doing the fucking same today. We're just going in without tits out and play some. Skinfreak. There we go. Okay. One thing I want to do. This shit is loud as tits. I know that the most fun part is the loud noises and the jump scares. But this is how the game literally starts. Like, there is nothing here. This is the menu. There is new game, load game, press exit. This is the menu. Right? This is an interactive menu even. So we're gonna go new game, right? Let's see what this is. Gen Alpha Roblox kids are screaming analog horror. Yeah. They do. They do. Oh god, this is loud. Max yawn.
I should have taken the alcoholics to their watering hole and Johns to their ladies in waiting. I've got to finish that degree. My chariot awaits.
Well, yeah, Max, maybe you should have.
He's from the office first. Hopefully Jerry doesn't notice I'm late.
So we gotta get the keys first. Okay. Why is the... Oh no, this is like... Yeah, okay. I was like, why is the fucking car running in an underground garage? But this is like the vent, sorta. Oh, mine, this is Danny's. Gotta get to the office. I don't know where the office is. God damn it, can you be any slower, Max? You're already fucking late. Where the fuck is the office anyways? I think I gotta go through where exit stands. Or this door right here. We don't clock in anymore. Jerry prefers to keep track of hours himself. Saying that out loud doesn't sound too good anymore. Yeah, it's fucking stupid. Why would you let Jerry do that, ever? Here we go, keys. Somebody left the keys here. Jerry? Ah!
Maximilian.
Jesus Christ, Jerry, you asshole.
Oh, hey, Jerry. Just grabbing my keys.
Thought you sneaked by old Jerry, did you?
Nah, it's not like...
I think Jerry is a cokehead.
You keep this up. I'll have you back to selling that second-rate stank hole of yours behind the liquor store again. Giving out those 2-for-1 spit and stick deals. Feel me?
Yeah, sure, Jerry. Won't happen again.
Good. Now go out there and get me my money. Ho.
What the fuck? Get out of there and give me my money, ho. He sounds awfully a lot like a pimp for somebody who runs a cab driving company. All important notices go up here. I never really looked at it. Well. Okay, time to drive, I guess. Or walk really slowly to my car. Oh shit, it will let me drive. Look at me go. I'm driving without a driver's license, boys. Let's fucking go. Oh shit. Oh. I was so fascinated by honking the horn that I set it right against the fucking wall. Because of course I would. Hey, what was that? There's something glowing there. God damn it, I'm in a horror game. I shouldn't stop. I should take the right. Okay, let's take the right. There we go. This guy doesn't look so good. I've heard it wrong. But did I just hear the boy? Keep this up and you're going to be serving spit in a hole. Something along those lines. He said that you basically gotta do blowjobs in an alley again if you don't drive. Buddy. Yeah?
What's the charge if I piss on the seat?
What the fuck?
I don't know. How much a knuckle sandwich costs these days?
Not worth it. The first place on the double, then. By the old water tower.
It doesn't sound like something I want to drive to. By the old water tower, imagine. Ha! Wesley with the ha! Let's fucking go. Is that the old water tower? It's the old fucking water tower. Is that the old water tower? Where's the old water tower? Silly Billies. I have no clue where I'm going. And that looks like a water tower. Well, it looks like it goes out of town. Oh shit. I can't fucking drive. My driving is the biggest horror in this game. I think I took a wrong route. I think I'm not supposed to be here. My guy, you gotta get out of here. I don't like this neighborhood. Yeah, I don't like it here. There's no water tower here, bitch. Get out. Enjoy some sins while I try to figure out the way. Glorious holes. Wow, that's a nice name for a bar, not gonna lie. I'm all for glorious holes. Sounds a little bit unhygienic, but who cares? I bet glorious holes are fucking epic. Oh, there's the fucking water tower. Look, I found it. If it was Orcos, it would be a Starbucks themed shop. You mean like me naked, just an apron on, and then somebody asks for orc milk with his coffee? Is that what you're alluring at? And then I fucking shoot my orc milk into the coffee? That it? Thanks, amigo. $1.50 we draw through. Mayhaps. Yeah, I kind of want to do that too. Like, I need some art trends. Funny art trends.
Fleshy these days. Here you go.
All right, better get back to it.
Did this guy just break down in front? The fuck? I think this guy just died.
Care for a cigar, Mr. Thorpe? I got some cigars in the dash there. No.
Well, no reason for you to carry a chip on your shoulder, Mr. Thorpe.
Oh, really? Well, I don't like this fool stunt.
Well, I don't see it as a fool stunt at all. I really don't. I think it's the only...
There's a Sidwave station. That's the only station that matters. Sidwave for life, bitch! Nobody's at Glorious Holes. I'm kinda disappointed. I get so lost in this tiny fucking map, holy shit. This is the taxi zone. Dilly Billy's is closed for now. Ah, there we go. There's another one. Speaking of music, I always found the aesthetic of Sidwaves to be really pretty. Yeah, it's kind of cool. The tunnel.
Did I stutter? Make haste before I anger.
Holy shit, bitch.
You looking to party? There's this great place under the tunnel. I can get you in.
Oh, no, I still have a while left on my shift. Thanks, though.
Ah!
Fuck.
Holy shit, dude.
Keep your fucking mouth shut the rest of the way. Hey,
Jesus Christ, did this guy fucking scam me or what?
look back here.
Okay. Okay, dude, I keep my eyes straight. I'll just get you to the tunnel. Holy fuck. Guy has weird anger issues.
That'll be 4 quarters.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 5.
What? That's enough. You fucking kidding me?
Works?
Here.
I only have 5. What? What? Is this guy fucking stupid? He's definitely high. Ah! Oh god, what the fuck was that? Just drive away, dude. What the fuck? Was someone trying to get in my car?
We interrupt your listening for an important APB.
Jesus Christ.
It has just been reported that the police are on a manhunt tonight.
Oh yeah? Oh yeah?
All citizens are urged to stay indoors if you can. But if you can't, please stay diligent and on the lookout for anyone suspicious.
Jesus fuck.
Reports have not been confirmed, but our reporters indicate this could be due to the discovery of yet another Skinfreak victim.
Why is this radio talking? No.
If so, the Skinfreak very well could be in the vicinity of the lower downtown.
Oh,
Please reach out to authorities if you have anything to report. We now return to your scheduled programming.
It's gonna be very loud just in a moment here. I feel like...
That murder had to have happened just a couple of blocks away. Really wish I wasn't working tonight.
I really wish I was working tonight. I wish I was either. We're gonna just drive. We're just gonna drive. Somebody was trying to get in our car, but we just ignore that. We're just gonna drive and we just keep working. Definitely nothing weird going on. Here we found the next person to drive around.
Why,
An old lady.
you have perfect timing. Oh, I wouldn't want to be working tonight.
Why are you out, bitch? You're like 59. He's gonna probably split you into tiny pieces.
Did you hear about the Skinfreak?
Yeah, it's me. I'm the skin freak.
Yeah, just heard about it on the radio.
I saw the crime scene, you know. Passed by it just an hour ago.
Why are you telling me this?
Real nasty stuff. It was definitely his work.
That's terrible.
Not an inch of skin was left on that poor woman. Strung up like cattle she was.
Jesus.
Looked like she was thrashed around a lot. Judging by the blood all over the place. What a way to go. Skin peeled back layer by layer like an onion, strung upside down in the back of some alley.
Lady, you're fucked in the head.
Take me to McLean Avenue, would you?
What the fuck is...
You've got it.
Where the fuck is that? A bowling alley. Where's the fucking bowling alley, guys? That it? No. Guys, where's the fucking bowling alley at? I don't want to drive to the tunnel again. Tunnel is fucking creepy as hell. I kinda expect if I turn around another time to that old lady, she has like a knife in her hand and she's gonna stab me to death. Something along those lines. I'll just be a good Max and drive. Oh, Jesus. You fucking bitch. Why did you fucking sneeze, you fucking hoe? It sounds like Metro Boomin' That bitch fucking sneezed and gave me a fucking heart attack. Why is everything cordoned off here? What the fuck, man? There's a bowling center. Just don't know how to get there. That it? Wait, I'm supposed to drive through this here? What? Why would an old lady go? What? Lady, you are fucked in the head.
I saw him once, you know.
Sorry, so who?
Why, the Skinfreak, of course.
Oh, Jesus Christ, she's insane. She's gonna kill me.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Well, it was early last year. I was up late because my cat, Mr. Buttery Nubbins, was sick. You see, I had given him
Buttery Nubbins.
You saw the Skinfreak?
Buttery Nubbins? The cat is called Buttery Nubbins. She's at the age of not giving a fuck now. She's ballin'. She's probably snorting cocaine off of those bowling balls.
Why, yes, son, I do believe I did.
I saw an Instagram video today where somebody like told a story, a Uber driver that he picked up saw a like a trio of sibling. They were 92, 88, and 87. And they were just out balling and getting like fucking bunk ass drunk in Memphis. Like they would go on a yearly trip, they told them, for every year for 4 days and just get fucking wasted for those 4 days in Memphis. Kind of wild. I'm not sure how true this is, but like it was a clip for certain, dude. Why, yes, son, I do believe I did.
Up late in my back garden soothing my poor Nubbins when I heard a commotion by my neighbor's house. We have a large wooden fence separating our properties, so I quietly approached it. I thought maybe it was a burglar or some vandals. I wish it was. Oh, I wish it was.
What did you see?
There wasn't much light, but oh lordy, the shape of this man. He didn't seem real. Like a nightmare ripped straight. He was so misshapen, with parts sticking out where they shouldn't be. Folds of I don't know what wrapped around him, like a Christmas present. The sound he made when he would move. Just a wet, squishy sound every time he took a step. Slosh, squish, slush. He had his back to me, so I didn't see his face. He was trying to open the window to my good neighbor's. I must have let out a gasp because he turned to me and he just stared at me.
He just stared at me.
I
Oh no.
He saw me. Even though his face was shrouded by shadows, I could just feel his eyes boring into me.
That is very detailed, lady.
After what felt like hours, but was surely only mere seconds, he just turned and walked away into the night. And that was that.
Lady, you just really made me wish I wasn't working tonight.
Oh, don't worry, honey. If little old me could scare him off, I'm sure a strapping young man like yourself will be just fine.
I'm not sleeping with you, Granny.
Yeah.
Here you go, Sonny. I believe this should cover it.
That is a fucking button.
Ma'am, this is a button.
She's gone. Yep, she went into the bowling alley.
Whatever.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Somebody just climbed on top of the car.
Bet Gloria has a nice pot waiting just for me.
Okay, we are going to Gloria's hole and then we get murdered. But I just saw somebody climbing on top of us. Of the car. I have to, like, drive differently. This is, like, completely fucking weird. Whoa! Dude, shit! Holy fuck! This game is full of jump scares. Containers remind me of how Gary's mod, their section of the map, lol. Because it's literally the same fucking technique. A nice My god, can't you move any fucking faster, you asshole? Like, look how slow he walks. Like, oh god, I'm dying. Jesus Christ, Gloria. Oh my god. Gloria looks fucking creepy. Look at Gloria. Look at her. Look how she looks at you. She's gonna fucking bite your cock off and chew on it. Jesus Christ, is this woman fucking creepy.
What's happening, Max?
The usual. Just putting in my hours as the nighttime chauffeur to the local circus clowns.
You know, you look like you could use a coffee.
Gloria, you diagnosed me better than my urologist.
She's skinny too.
Someone's gotta look out for you, kid. Be right back.
I'm not looking around. No, we are not using the bathroom, Max. We are not using the fucking bathroom. We stay here. I feel like Gloria is about to get fucking skinned alive. What the fuck is that bathroom back there? This shit. Like, what the fuck is wrong with that light? This is obviously made to look like it was made of Unreal 1. It's just Unity. It's just Unity engine. I think but I mean, what I know what you say. The art style looks more like Unreal 1. Yeah. Oh, hey, we even can't flush. I don't want to turn around. Late 90s, yeah. I think it's Unity. I don't know what they're using. I have a bad feeling about this. You and me both. You and me both. I fucking hate it here. Ah, shit, Gloria, you stupid. Ah. Jesus Christ, Gloria. Ah. That bitch gave me a scare. Holy fucking shit, man.
Surprised you stopped in.
Get away from me, you creepy cow.
What with you having a customer and all?
What do you mean?
There's somebody in your car.
Oh, that's weird.
Oh. How about I just stay the night here, Gloria, huh? And we lock down the diner right the fuck now. If he's not already inside and we gonna get...
I thought I saw someone in the back seat of your cab.
She needs to lay off those junkies because they are bad for her. I mean, if she's smoking a crack pipe in the back alley with some junkies, I ain't judging her, you know, but you might be correct. I don't think it's very healthy for her. I think she needs to chill the fuck out a little bit. And not smoke crack in a dirty back alley with some junkies. Because it's fucking weird, bro. It's just made with the amount of police found in 90 shooters. Yeah.
I was just seeing things. Well, hope that coffee helps you get through the night.
I'm sure it will. Thanks, G.
Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm so dead.
Don't mention it. Stay safe out there.
I will fucking die. I know it. Jesus, she's so lanky. I feel like she's gonna stab me in the tits too. I don't want to say this, but you're cooked, bro. I am more cooked than a well-done fucking steak. I am fucking about to get fucking killed by someone. The question is, where's my next fucking pickup? The guy might have just stealing himself into the diner and just get murdered by fucking murder fucking Gloria. Well, she's like all happy and sunshine and coffee. How about we end our shift? How about that? How about we just drive the fuck back and tell our boss, you know what? I'm just quitting. I'm not gonna... Yeah, I'm not doing this. I'm quitting. I'm gonna go back to sucking dick in an alleyway. How about that? How about we just do that? I think that's a good idea. I think if we just tell our boss, look, boss, I'm done with driving like cab. I'll be around sucking dick in a dirty alley. I'm done. Like, boss, I'm the fuck done. Get over here, you bitch. Nah, he won't. Jesus Christ. Woo. No dice. Our boss didn't even talk to us. He was... Oh, there's the next pickup. I see them. Look. This is the next pickup. She's at Silly Billy's.
Thank God. I didn't think any cabs were on the slate. Just flew in from Albuquerque, and boy are my wings tired.
Jesus Christ, no, please don't stop.
Wait, I mean my arms are tired.
If it makes you feel any better, even if you did nail the delivery, I wouldn't have left.
Sorry, just got done with a practice set at the comedy club. Ever been?
Can't say that I have.
Well, don't. It's full of hacks like me.
At least she's self-aware, bro.
Should have just drove, but I'm trying to walk more. Oh, can you take me to Grubby D Motel?
Sure can.
What the fuck is Grubby D Motel? And why would you call something... Why would you call it Grubby D Motel? That sounds like Luffy the Monkey.
What?
Staying at the motel. You're just passing through our fine city?
Oh no, I plan on staying.
Where'd you come from?
A ways out. Some small town a few counties over. Just got a new job at the Bon Plaza.
That place is on the outskirts for sure.
I'm just shacking up at this shithole until I could find an apartment.
Gotcha. You picked a real fine establishment.
Okay, so this is not the... I guess the motel is again through the tunnel.
Anyway, we'll be there soon.
Wife's coughing up a storm in the background. Maybe I need to check on her if she doesn't stop. Grubby D Motel. Yeah, there it is. And I have to find the way again.
Ordinary selling
The goddamn motel.
Don't forget the reputation saddling this house. 4 suicides since 1939. You know what people call it? The death trap.
There it is.
It's a lot of nonsense.
Grubby D fucking motel. Here we go.
Hey, thanks for the ride.
No problem. That'll be $2.
Here you are.
Max, answer me. Turns out I got a hot date tonight. Come back to the shop and close up.
You sure, boss?
Yes, I'm sure. I don't care about no other customers. Get your ass back here and lock everything up.
Yeah, okay. Boss says we're gonna lock up shop. The cool thing, I know where the fucking garage is. You just have to go straight in a straight lane. You can honk if we are horny. Honk if you're horny. $2, man. $2 isn't enough to pay the freaking rent. I mean, it's enough to get a taxi ride wherever this is in, I don't know, Fantasylantistan. Or Make-Believe-istan. Here we go. Gonna lock up tight. We are so cooked. We are so gonna die.
This load and took off.
Yes, Jerry. How do I close up the fucking garage doors? Oh my god. Why am I so slow?
All right, I just need to drop my keys off in the office and I can finally go home.
An average room is $52 a night. Ah, there was somebody in the trunk. Of course. Of course someone was in the trunk. I am so dead. I'm gonna die. Oh no, I'm so gonna die. You know what? We're gonna check. And we're probably gonna get fucking roasted. Oh yeah. Here comes the jump scare. Get ready for your surprise. Okay, so where do you want me to go? I don't really understand. Yeah, well, I need to go in the office probably. Just need to click on the door, I guess. And then the door goes open and then I get jump scared and yell and be like, ah, ah. Yeah, me neither, Orko. Yeah, we all are in a bad spot right now. Gonna get jump scared. Ah, there he is. And we are dead. See? Told you. Jesus. Oh God, it was the Skinfreak all along. Oh shit, oh shit, oh Max, you don't look good. Max, bro. Jesus, what the fuck was that noise? It was the Skinfreak.
Alright, so let me get this straight.
No, there's nothing straight about this. It's all fucking homosexual.
You got home from your little comedy club, and you find your room broken into and torn apart like this.
Yes.
Yeah, playing the comedy chick.
Are you sure you didn't just leave it like this?
What the fuck are you kinda cop, you stupid asshole? Are you fucking shitting me? What the fuck kind of cop are you? Rest in pepperoni, Max. You lived shortly, yeah? Yes.
Ma'am, please, I'm going to need you to calm down.
I'm gonna shit on your throat, you asshole.
Any valuables stolen?
Only literally everything I own?
So, no. Just a sec while I get
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
Okay. And you want us to do what?
This is the quintessential American cop experience, isn't it? Gonna get you, little piggy.
Find the person who broke into my room, stole my stuff, and left that overtly threatening message on my wall.
Oh, no.
Alright. Do you have any enemy?
Like I was trying to explain to you, I know exactly who it is. My
Oh, you saw who broke in? Why didn't you just say so?
That makes our job way easier.
I didn't see him, but I know who it is. He's the whole reason I'm staying at this flea bag posing as a motel trying to stay low. If you could please stop interrupting me as I was saying.
Attention all units. All available units report to Jerry's taxi service. Attention! Suspect believed to be the Skinfreak. All units report now!
Oh, shit! Lady, if this happens again, give us a call.
Well, you was gone fast.
Help. Guess I better clean this place up.
Okay, we're gonna clean up the place. It took everything I had left. Place is a fucking mess anyways. Okay, let's turn out the light and... Oh, Jesus.
Pulling this late at night.
I don't know, bitch. You tell me.
Hello?
Belle? Belle, this is your boss, Mr. Bond.
Yes, I know who you are, Mr. Bond.
Belle, I'm in a serious predicament wrapped around a pickle inside a bind.
Okay.
What's, wrong?
There's no Robocop when you need him. He's on, in another city.
Holy hell, did I get them mixed up? You know that software update we were doing next month?
It's today.
Sure do.
Well, next month turned out to be this month. And this month ends tonight.
What? I can't even begin to install it. We don't have the software.
I know. I arranged an overnight delivery. The software will be delivered to the office tonight. Belle, we really need this up and running before tomorrow. Can you please, Belle, believe me, even with my bad back, I am in the middle of my living room in my unmentionables on my hands and knees here. Can you please go in tonight and make sure it's installed on all our computers?
How about you go fuck yourself, you fucking fat old man?
Boss, come on.
I'll give you half a week's extra pay if you do it. And you get tomorrow off, of course.
Well, I guess that settles it.
Every red-blooded American could. You'll do it?
Yeah.
Blooded American. Jesus Christ, that was one hell of a line.
Belle, you have saved my life, and maybe even my mortal soul. You're Employee of the Month for the next quarter.
Alright, I'll head out right now.
Thank you. I hired a private delivery service. They might have even already delivered it before you get in. Thanks again.
Got a creeping feeling under my skin. This is going to be a long night.
Oh yeah, bitch. Oh yeah. We gonna go in for a fucking ride, dude. Finish the prologue. Start of a long night, yeah. It just got an achievement. Wait, I have a car? Why did I call a taxi?
And my wristwatch set to buzz every hour.
Every time an alarm goes off on Belle's watch, your game is automatically saved. Oh, okay. Oh, so this is free form. Oh, this is interesting. This is very interesting what they are doing here. Okay, I'm very much down. Okay. I should probably read the instructions on the desk to brush up on things. New employees. New employee, please remember that you can check your inventory by pressing the I key. They're using AV shader. Yeah. You also have a notebook. After opening your inventory, will open your notebook. Important information stored. Yeah. Bing. Stapler. Continue. A dream I used to have as a kid every night. For months I would have the same nightmare. Stop talking to yourself. A fucking crazy lady. Okay, let's go upstairs, I guess. Composite shader makes it look like you're capturing another console or PC. Yeah. Shit, hi, Steve.
Evening, Steve.
Evening? It's the dead of night, Belle. What are you doing here at this time?
Need to install some new software before tomorrow. Boss ordered overnight shipping. It was supposed to be delivered by now.
Must be running late.
Oh, that's perfect. Well, whenever you do see the delivery man, can you send him straight up?
Ma'am, yes ma'am.
Jesus Christ, don't jump out of your chair.
How are you?
Oh, I can't complain much. Got my coffee, a space heater, my radio stories come on soon. Missing one thing, though.
What's that?
I usually have a big old chocolate donut to cap things off, but I dropped it on the floor.
There's a 5-second rule, you know.
Then I accidentally stepped on it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, now that would give me second thoughts.
And I slipped and fell ass first into it.
Rest in peace, chocolate donut.
And my new pants. Now they look like I didn't beat IBS all those years ago. If I only had another chocolate donut.
Hint noted. Anything exciting happen?
So, I assume you didn't hear the news from a half hour ago? There was quite a bit of excitement around here.
No, I was busy the past few hours. What happened?
I missed the Dreamcast. I do too.
Well, damn, Belle. It was pretty grim stuff. You know the new guy up in your office?
Harold? Yeah, what about him?
Oh, it's terrible. I don't even know where to start.
What is it? He get in an accident?
No. He was killing people, Belle.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, what are you talking about, Steve?
Skinfreak murders earlier tonight. Not all of the details are out, but detectives found some evidence at the crime scene and showed up at Harold's house. They busted in and... oh, lordy. I don't know exactly what police found in there, but they confirmed that Harold was in fact the Skinfreak.
What?
They found 2 women chained up in a soundproofed room. One was already dead.
Holy shit.
The other... I can't even say. The things he did was straight up vile. The sicko apparently converted his basement into a torture dungeon. They found DNA of at least 6 other women down there. All missing persons.
Well, that's not the Skinfreak. That's the other guy from, what was the other game called? They had,
Holy shit. And you're
like,
sure it was out?
Murder House or something like that?
Yeah, it's all over the news. That's why I was surprised you came in here all cheery. I guess it makes sense, though, if you didn't know.
I kinda don't want to know any more about it. I'm gonna be creeped out all night being up in the office alone now.
I bet. Especially since he hasn't been caught yet.
What?
Oops. I probably shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. Sorry for the sneeze.
What do you mean he hasn't been caught yet?
Well, he wasn't at his house when police raided it. Now, don't worry. The police already checked this place from top to bottom, too. In fact, you just missed them. They left about 10 minutes ago. They're having a real manhunt out there tonight.
Goodness gracious.
You're telling me.
The cops are so inept in these video games.
I'll be right
Why
back.
aren't there cops in the building if he's coming back?
Hurt you in there.
Thanks, Steve.
Oh god, I'm not going down the basement. Fuck that shit. She said 6th floor, right? Let's go down there. So we can't go 5th. The fuck? Is everything fucked in this building? Office kitchen. There, light switch, yeah. Nice. Microwave, there's nothing here. Okay. We need to clear the trash, apparently. Red. Yeah. Oh, look, there's a donut for Steve. Anything else here? Cups. The fuck was that? Coffee. Grounds. Oh. Okay, you need to find the ground coffee, I guess. Water. Soda. There we go. It's inventory. Use. Ah, there we go. Okay. A mug. There we go. There we go. Belt speed increase. Oh my god, we can actually increase our speed in this game. That's fucking fantastic. So we're going downstairs, talk to Steve, and yeah. Just what the fuck? This fucking thing is so broken. This is so bad. Here's your chocolate donut.
Got you a little something, Steve.
A new hip?
Not quite. Here you go.
Hell yeah! My sugar was getting a little low. I owe you one.
I feel like Steve is Very, very not fit person to do his job. Okay, let's go to the 6th floor. And don't use the stairs. This is my office, but it's locked, okay? How did I get in my fucking office? Oh, it's... Parachutes is clogged up, I think. Shovel's on the 3rd floor. Oh. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Office key. I gotta use the office key. Haha! Mr. Bond, we need to order fatty cakes and new keyboard. Again, he got it so sticky that there's no use in cleaning it. He can't even log in because the key sticks. I think you're going to have another conversation with him about cooking in the office. What the fuck is the House of the Necromancer? Press escape will quit the game. Progress will not be saved, okay? I stand before the house where all the villagers tell me the necromancer dwells. The night is still with a slight breeze, where if you listen close enough, you can perhaps hear the wailing warnings of the deceased. Wait, is this a fucking game in a game? I cannot listen to them tonight. It's not revenge nor noble deed that leads me to this house of evil. I shift the weight I'm carrying across my left shoulder. I draw the sheet tight around its still form, wanting to look at what lies beneath. I must find this necromancer and make right the pain swelling in my heart. The coyotes howl in the night. No doubt they have followed the trail of blood I have leaked behind me. I must act fast. I know not how these rituals work, but I assume the sooner after tragedy, the better the chance of success. I promise you will bring you back to this earth yet. The fuck am I doing? Oh, Jesus! Just as suspected as hidden, he was placed inside this poor soul's cranium. I apologize for the desecration, but I'm sure the spirit will understand that I hunt your killer this night. Looking into the entryway is similar to staring into an endless dark void. For this to look PS2, it would need ghosting and greenish tint, yeah. Now that the door is open, I can move across its threshold. Wait. Move. There we go. I step across the threshold and immediately can feel the evil in this house. I best tread lightly. Who knows what horrors the necromancer surrounds himself with. Jesus. Door's not closed and will not budge. Move ahead. This room looks like it was once a study, a chessboard and a telescope being the most prominent objects in this room. What the fuck? Appears to be an unfinished game in progress. What am I doing here? The skin face is displayed as decoration. Thank you for the hearts. Progress will not be safe. Fuck this. Mail, what do we got? Mr. Bond, important information. Lucy, can you forward me that important collage we're working on? Would like to show you it anyways. Kick out of it. Alright. I need a short break. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Bookies will return in a little bit. I'm back. Here we go again. Let's resume this. Okay. So where was I? Deleted email. It was all a misunderstanding, babe. Come back home and I'll explain everything. I promise it wasn't what what it looked like. You know, I would never do anything to hurt you. If you're not back in our apartment in the next hour, I will find you and crack your fucking skull. Holy shit. Yeah, I'm Bark. Maybe doing it a second time will reverse whatever fucked up brain damage I caused you. You would treat me like this? Come back. Holy shit, what the fuck, dude? Jesus Christ, people have no chill in this game. Light switch. Karen. Karen is here. Oh, we keep the blinds down. Candy. Guess it's for me. Use the computer. Click. Did it? Karen. Yes, Karen has a password. Turn around a little bit. What combination could it be? I don't know. Trying to look busy. Mr. Bond, please go back to your office so I can get back to my novel and see if Fabio is swept off his feet by the mystical unicorn maiden. Please. Miss Karen, I seem to have forgotten one of the rules that you told me I should always follow when using the putter, and I do believe I'm inside a pickle. Can you help me, please? Oh yeah, that was what I proposed to remember. Thank you. Bin dreams. Jesus Christ, these people are all insufferable already. Okay, let's go to my office. The fuck? Why is this office trashed? Picture. You see this? This office over here is trashed. You have to get behind the door though. Locked. Why is it so fucking dark here? The light switch here. Okay, that's better. Harold's office is kinda trashed. Finding these light switches is fucking insane, dude. Mr. Bond. Fatty Cakes is locked. Why is this guy called Fat? No, I don't want to know why this guy is called Fatty Cakes. I just don't want to know. Whoa, dude. The fucking blow up though. We're gonna use the computer. Shotgun. Your son has been kidnapped. The diabolical scum-suckers gang. Ruthless and the police will not help you. Luckily, your name is Shotgun. And you have a shotgun. There's space to shoot. Okay. That wasn't happening, I guess. Let's try this again. Oh, Jesus. There's a lot of them coming at you at once. You see what they're doing here. I enjoy this though. This is kinda great. Yeah. But you only have so much ammo, I guess. You don't have unlimited ammo. Oh, you can hide. Okay. Oh shit. Okay, I'm kind of done with this. This is kind of bullshit. Hey kiddo, I just wanted to let you know I appreciate you how quickly you've gotten around here. Documents, shotgun. Don't have the software, can't install it yet. Well done. What's the software though? Oh yeah, I remember Harold was supposed to be the Skinfreak guy. That's why probably his office is trashed.
Hello.
Hey, Steve. Just checking to see your...
Sure am. Here all...
Alright, see...
1 second, guys. I'll be right back. All right. Gonna be a bit shit, but I apologize, but I have to cut the stream, unfortunately, a little bit short. I have to go. I'm sorry. The missus isn't feeling too well, and I need to attend. That's just normal. So yeah, I apologize for any inconvenience, and I'll make it up. We'll do a once I'm off work, we'll do a makeup stream. I'll read some more of the creepypasta. We finished Skinfreak, and we're gonna watch that movie I announced. Okay? Until then, I'll talk to you all soon. Tomorrow, in fact. And happy Halloween. Exactly. God, get some candy. Take care, Win. And bye-bye.